Good day, students. Today we shall discuss a chapter from your book, The Moments, and the title of the chapter is A House is Not a Home. What do you understand by these two words, house and home? Are these two different things? Yes, students. House and home both are two different things. What is the difference? House. House is a place which is made up of cement, bricks, iron, wood, etc. And home is made with love, affection. People or the family makes a house a home. So every house is not a home. Let us begin the story. What happens in the story that there is a boy who is depressed for so many reasons. There are many reasons of depression in his life, and gradually he understands the value of people in his life, and uh, starts believing that house can be made anytime, but it is important to have a home. My first year of high school felt awkward after leaving junior high at the head of my class with all the seniority the upper grade levels could afford me. It felt strange starting over as a freshman. So, here this is an autobiographical chapter in which the writer Zen he used to study in a junior school where he was in the highest class. Means in foreign countries, students, what happens that primary school buildings are entirely different, separated from the high school, and similarly, senior secondary schools are entirely different, means buildings are altogether separated. So in his junior school he was in the senior most class, so he believed that he was the hero of the school. He was means given importance there. But when he joined the next school, the higher school, there he was a freshman. He he was not feeling comfortable with his new surroundings. The school was twice as big as my old school, and to make matters worse, my closest friends were sent to a different high school. I felt very isolated. So, although the building was big than the previous old school, but he was not liking this new building, new school, because his friends, those who used to be very close friends of him, they were also sent to different high schools. So the surroundings were different, and his closest friends had gone to some other places, so he was feeling very lonely. I missed my old teachers so much that I would go back and visit them. They would encourage me to get involved in school activities so that I could meet new people. So, because he used to miss his old teachers, old school, old friends, so in between, he used to visit his old school, and he used to tell his worries, his uncomfortable attitude at the new place. And he used to share these things with his old teachers, and teachers used to encourage him that he should take part in activities in new schools so that he could meet new people, he could make friends there. They told me that in time I would adjust and probably end up loving my new school more than I had my old one. And teachers also guided him that when he will get involved with the people in the new school, he will adjust himself there, and he might forget about the old one. They made me promise that when uh, that happened, I would still come by and visit them from time to time. I understood the psychology in what they were saying, but I took some comfort in it nonetheless. So, the teachers asked the boy to visit the old school then also when he finds himself comfortable in the new surroundings. He was getting the teachers, because teachers were encouraging him to be familiar with the new environment, they wanted that he should get adjusted in the new environment, and they were just making him uh, feel that he should adapt according to the new environment. And but he was right now he was not comfortable with anything there. One Sunday afternoon, not long after I had started high school, I was sitting at home at our room table doing homework. It was a cold and windy fall day, and we had a fire going in our fireplace. So it was one Sunday. He had recently joined the high school, and he was not feeling good about the school. He was doing his homework sitting at his dining table, and it was the weather was cold and wind windy fall day. Fall day means autumn season, you can say, when the leaves fall and wind was blowing. It was quite chilled outside, and fire was burning in the fireplace, and he was doing his homework. As usual, my red tabby cat was lying on top of all my papers, purring loudly and occasionally swatting at my pen for entertainment's sake. So, the writer had a pet cat at home. It was a red tabby cat. The cat was so fond of the writer that it used to be with him all the time. When he was doing his homework on the table, the cat was also sitting on his paper. It was purring loudly. Purring means the sound made by the cat, and occasionally the cat used to play with his pens. So, this was the activity done by the cat. She was never far from me. I had rescued her when she was a kitten, and somehow she knew that I was the one responsible for giving her the good life. So, uh, once it happened that the cat was in trouble someday. The cat was in when it was a kitten. It was a small cat. It was in trouble somewhere, and the writer Jen had rescued it from that trouble. And since then, it was living with the writer. So the cat knew that the writer had given it a good life, a protection from the outer world. So the cat was very fond of the writer. My mother kept stoking the fire to keep the house nice and warm. Suddenly I smelled something strange, and then I noticed it. Smoke pouring in through the seams of the ceiling. The smoke began to fill the room so quickly that we could barely see. So the fire was burning in the fireplace, and mother was stoking it when she was putting wood into the fire. And it was because cold weather, and they wanted that the house should be cozy. So this activity was going on. Suddenly, the writer felt a strange smell, and then he noticed that from the ceiling, from the roof, smoke was entering into the room, and soon the whole room was filled with smoke, and the writer and his mother could not see anything. Uh, Groping our way to the front door, we all ran out into the front yard. By the time we made our way outside, the whole roof was engulfed in flames, and it was spreading quickly. Groping means taking means uh, not clear, the things which are not visible, and just searching blindly. They ran towards the door, and finally they came in the front yard. And by the time the writer and his mother came out, the whole roof of the house was burning with flames. They could see the flames, and the flames were spreading everywhere. They ran to the neighbor's house to call the fire department, while I watched my mother run back into the house. So the writer ran towards the neighbor's house to call the fire brigade, but his mother ran back into the house. My mother then ran out of the house carrying a small metal box full of important documents. She dropped the case on the lawn and, in a crazed state, ran back into the house. I knew what she was after. So, the writer's mother, after a few minutes, she came back. She came out of the house with a metal box. It was carrying a lot of important documents. She threw those paper, those that box into the lawn, and again went back into the house in a crazed manner. And the writer knew what she was after, what she wanted to save from the flames. My father had died when I was young, and I was certain that she was not going to let his pictures and letters go up in the flames. This was the thing. She was not looking for valuables. She was looking for the letters and the pictures of her husband. She has lost her husband quite uh, at young age, and she had lot of pictures and letters of her husband, and she wanted that those pictures and letters should not get burnt in the fire, and she wanted to save them. They were the only things that she had to remember him by. Still, I screamed at her, "Mom, no." The writer got worried. Because the way the fire was spreading, it could harm her. So the writer stopped her not to go inside. I was about to run after her when I felt a large hand hold me back. It was a fireman. I had not even noticed that the street had already filled with the fire trucks. I was trying to free myself from his grip, yelling, "You don't understand. My mom is in there." So the writer, he was worried about his mother because mother ran into the burning house. The writer also wanted to go inside and save his mother, but two large hands held him tight, and it was a fireman. And suddenly the writer noticed that the whole street was filled with fire trucks. The rescue team had come there. The writer wanted to go inside. He tried to free himself from the hands of the firemen, but they did not leave him. The writer cried loudly, "My mom is there inside the house. I want to save her." He held on to me while other firefighters ran into the house. He knew that I wasn't acting very logically, and that if he were to let go, I would run. He was right. "It is all right. They will get her," he said. So these firemen, they know their duty well. He did not loosen his grip over the writer, because he knew that if he had loosened his grip, the writer had gone would have gone inside the house to save his mother. So he did not made his grip loose, and he assured the writer that his mother will be saved by other firemen. They are working there. He wrapped a blanket around me and sat me down in our car. Soon after that, a fireman emerged from our house with my mom in tow. So he wrapped a blanket around me. Why a blanket is wrapped? Because if a person has got some burnt over his body, blanket soothes those burns, and moreover, means the blanket extinguishes the fire. on the body. So the fireman wrapped the boy in a blanket and made him sit in his car. Soon after some time, another fireman brought his mother out of the house. He quickly took her over to the truck and put an oxygen mask on her. I ran over and hugged her. All those times I ever argued with her and hated her vanished at the thought of losing her. So, what happened? The mother had been in the house for a long time, so she had this smoke inside her. She means she was choking. She was not comfortable in breathing. So the fireman took her to the truck and gave her an oxygen mask. The writer saw her and he ran towards her, and he hugged her tight, and he forgot all the grudges he had for his mother. For anything ever he had hated his mother, he forgot all those things, and he had a fear of losing his mother. So he hugged her tight. She's going to be okay, said the fireman. She just inhaled a little smoke, and then he ran back to fight the fire while my mother and I sat there dazed. So the fireman made both mother and son comfortable, saying that she will be okay. She had inhaled a little smoke. That is why she was choking, and that is why she was given an oxygen mask. And that he made them sit there, and he ran back to the house to extinguish the fire. And the mother and the son, they sat there in dazed means confused manner. I remember watching my house burn down and thinking that there was nothing I could do about it. So it was a tragedy for the family that the house was burning in front of their eyes and they were helpless. They couldn't do anything. 5 hours later, the fire was finally out. Our house was almost completely burned down. But then it struck me. I hadn't seen my cat. Where was my cat? Much to my horror, I realized that she was now nowhere to be found. So it took 5 hours to extinguish the fire. Finally, when the fire was put out, the house was completely burnt. Everything in the house was completely destroyed by the fire. But then the writer thought about his cat, where the cat was, and this was a horror idea that he might have lost his cat in the fire. He tried to uh, look for the cat, but he was not able to find it. Then, all at once, it hit me: the new school, the fire, my cat. I broke down in tears and cried and cried. I was suffering loss big time. So now the writer remembers all the losses he has faced in life till now. He has lost his father, his house is burnt, he has left his old school and he's not comfortable at his new school, he has lost his friends, and now he has lost his cat also. So he was in a great depression at this time. Heavy losses he's thinking about that he had faced in his life, and he was crying. The firemen would not let us go back into the house that night. It was still too dangerous. Dead or alive, I could not imagine leaving without knowing about my cat. The writer wanted to go back into the house to look for his cat, but the firemen did not allow them because everywhere it was smoke, and the fire had given out some dangerous gases, and those gases could harm the writer. So they did not allow them to go inside the house, inside the building, burnt house. But the writer wanted to know what had happened to his cat, and he wanted to go inside. Regardless, I had to go. We piled into the car with just the clothes on our backs and a few of the firemen's blankets and made our way to my grandparents' house to spend the night. So the writer could not go inside. He felt very bad without his cat, but the firemen made them sit in the car with the clothes they were wearing and the blankets given to them by the fire brigade department, and they went to his grandparents' house because their own house was burnt and they wanted to spend a night there. The next day, Monday, I went to school when the fire broke out. I was still wearing the dress I had worn to church that morning, but I had no shoes. I had picked them off when I was doing my homework. They became yet another casualty of the fire. So, next morning it was Monday. The writer had to go to school, but he had no uniform, no clothes, no shoes. The dress he was wearing the previous day when he went to church on Sunday, the same dress he was wearing, he went to the school in that dress, but he had no shoes. His shoes were burnt in the house. He was reminded of his shoes that he had kicked them off when he returned from his church, and they might have got destroyed there. So this was another casualty in his life. Means he had lost his shoes also. He was thinking about his losses. Was I destined to be an outcast and a geek all my life? So these are the thoughts of a depressed person. He realized destined means destiny has written something bad in his life. So outcast means always rejected. So he started feeling like he was means a boy who is facing so much trouble in his life, and what he's going to face now he is not sure. That is what it felt like. I didn't want to grow up, change, or have to handle life if it was going to be this way. I just wanted to curl up and die. So he was so much depressed that he wanted that this kind of life, it is better to die than living this kind of life. So he was very much depressed. He wanted to end up his life. I walked around school like a zombie. Everything felt surreal, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. All the security I had known from my old school, my friends, my house, and my cat had all been ripped away. So, he was walking in the school like a zombie. Zombie means a dull or a person who has no feelings, no emotions. So the things were all unreal, and uh, he was means he was not happy at all. He had lost interest in life actually, and he was not sure what would happen next moment. All the security of life, everybody needs security in life, and all the security in life had gone from his life. He had lost his old school, he had lost his friends, he had lost his father, he had lost his house, and now he has lost his cat also. So all these things were making him feel very uncomfortable in his life. So children, this is all for this video. I will be completing this chapter in my next video. Thank you. Have a great day.